my gorgeous plant people, welcome back to Reading Mindfully. My name is Yana, and today I am doing a collective plant haul, so let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So like I said, today we're doing a collective plant haul. Now these don't include the plants that I've already gotten from Lowe's and showed you in the other video, or the snake plants that I got from Bros with Hose. These are a different set of plants, and I might have gone a little overboard, but it's gonna be okay. So I'm either going to do it by plant type or I'm going to do it by store. I think it would be easier just to do it by plant type. So let's just get into it. You guys might want to pull up a chair, grab a snack or whatever, because I got a lot of plants. And so the first plant that I got, guys, I'm so excited. I found this Syngenea leucotricha, and I am so excited for this little plant. I found this Etsy seller that was selling it, and I believe the name is Rare Succulents, and I am just so excited for this plant. I have tried to look up so much care and research for this plant. I've gone on YouTube, blogs, and I'm just so nervous with this plant. This has me more nervous than the Calatheas. But guys, I am just so in love with this plant. If you can just see the texture and how furry it is so soft, like you're petting a puppy, and I love it. And I'm just gonna, this plant, like I said, it has me so nervous, but I'm just going to keep an eye on it. It says you should keep these plants moist while they have their foliage. So I did bottom water it today, but I love this plant so much, and if it dies on me, I will definitely be buying another one until I get it right. But I bought one for me and I bought one for my mom, and I just cannot wait for this plant to grow. And even if it does or doesn't give me blooms, because they do produce like these little orangey red or pinky flowers, I will be so happy. But if it doesn't bloom and it just, you know, continues to grow and thrive, I will still be happy. But I've wanted this plant since last year, if not longer, and I'm so happy I finally have one. So that's the first plant that I got. I think next we'll do my ferns, because I didn't get as many ferns this time around, but the ferns that I did get, I'm really happy with. So the first fern I think I got was, guess what this is? It is the zebra fern. And so you guys know I wanted this fern. It was on my wish list from last year and this year, and I'm so happy that I finally got this fern. And I love the patterning, if you can see that. I will do some up close shots as well, but this just has the most beautiful pattern with the chartreuse and the dark green. Now this fern, you have to be careful with how much light you give it, because it does burn easily. And as you can see, this is either damage from the shipping or it's they gave it too much light, but this damage was here before it got to my house. But it's fine, I don't mind having a little bit of damage on the plant. This did ship really well and fast, and so I was happy with the seller. I also got this one on Etsy, and it is just a beautiful plant. This one is a thirsty girl though, and so you really have to make sure that you water this, you know, correctly and on time. I think this one might even drink more water than my maidenhair fern, which is really weird. So I do keep an eye on this one, and I might even move it to my windowsill, because I tend to keep plants that I need to keep an eye on in my windowsill, just so I can see them every day and I don't forget. But it's kind of too big for my windowsill with my other plants, so we'll see where I'm gonna put this plant. But right now I have it on the floor under my Sansi light, and it's doing really well. So that's the first one. Now this fern I showed you guys in my spider mice video, and this is another bird's nest fern, the Leslie variety. I really love this fern, and I was trying to figure out what kind it was, just because it has these frayed edges that kind of look like a fish's tail, and at first I thought it was a fishtail fern, but then I saw that there was a posting for this fern on Etsy, and it labeled it as a Leslie fern, and I'm really excited for this fern. I don't know what it is about this fern that I really like, but I'm enjoying it. And I saw this one I got from Garden Gate Center, and it's already putting out new fronds for me, if you can see that, so I'm really excited. And this one I also keep pretty moist. It did have some damaged fronds when I got it because all of their plants were dry, and I mean dry, but this one is doing pretty well. And yeah, I really love bird's nest ferns, so as many bird's nest ferns as I can get in different varieties, I'm like all for. Alright, now this, I didn't know what kind of fern this was when I first got it. I just knew that it was really soft and had really cool foliage. And when I got this home, I was trying to figure out what it was on Instagram, because usually on Instagram I'll just type in the plant to see what it is and try to figure it out that way, or I'll try to Google it. And then I also posted on my Instagram stories, and no one really knew what it was. And after searching on Instagram and things like that, I think it is a Brazilian tree fern, which is weird because you guys already know how much I love my Australian tree fern. So to stumble across another tree fern accidentally is kind of funny to me. But this one is so cool. And then this one is really different from my other tree fern because the growth is upright, and my other one kind of grows horizontally. And also when the fronds come in, they come in like this like reddish color, which is really nice. And like I said, the texture is kind of velvety, like some versions of Calathea, which is really the reason why I got it in the first place. As well as the fronds have this like split like a snake's tongue. So this fern was just all kinds of crazy, and I just needed to have it in my collection. The only thing I really need to do is up pot it in a bigger pot, which I put it in this 4-inch pot because it came in a 4-inch plastic pot, and I didn't like the medium that it was in. But I need to pump it up in a 6-inch pot because this plant drinks a lot of water, and it drinks more than my maidenhair fern, which I'm just like, you gotta go in a bigger pot because it drinks a lot of water. So it gave me a heart attack one day because I came home and it was just like limp like a Fatonia, and I was like, oh my god, I killed my fern. But when I gave it water, it bounced back up. So the fronds do get more stiff when it has been well watered, and then when it needs a lot of water, it goes really limp. But I'm gonna up pot this so I don't have to worry about it, dying on me. But it is such a cool looking fern, and I like how the fronds are very lacy. So that's the other fern. And the last fern that I got, you guys can see that I really like ferns. I think I have 3 more on. Guys, I have one more last like clump of plants that I ordered. And so if you think this is a lot of plants, like just wait till you see the last order. But I think I got 3 more ferns in my last clump of plant orders. So you guys will see that I just really love ferns. But this is my maidenhair fern, and I also got this at Old Country Gardens with the last fern. And this fern has been a peach. You guys know that in my last plant tour, I've struggled with maidenhair ferns, and I think I struggled because they were in really small pots, and they were planted in this really weird medium. I don't know if it was like coconut chips or bark or something, but when it dried, and so I just could not do it this time. What I did was I potted it in my mix with the black gold soil and the perlite, and I did 80-20 like I talked about in my soil video. And this thing has been so easy this time. It has not given me any difficulty at all. And in fact, look at all that new growth here, and here that it's put out. So this one is doing a lot better than my last ones, and I think it's because it's more established. I put in my own soil medium, and I am definitely keeping this moist. It almost needs water now. I water this one when it hits a 3 or 4. I do not let it dry out at all. And like I said, it's been doing really well, and I love all the new growth that it's coming in on this plant. So this one makes me so happy, and I hope I can keep this alive, but I'm feeling good about this plant and I'm not worried at all. And so the next couple of plants that I got are in the Ficus family, and I'm really excited because you guys know that I had a whole bunch of Ficus on my wish list, and I was able to knock them all out. Now these plants are a part of that plant package that I told you got lost in the mail for 2 weeks, and so I was expecting these plants to be fully dead, and I was surprised that when they finally arrived that they were still alive and looked pretty decent. So this is the first plant that I got. I got 2 Ficus Audreys, and I got these from the plant farm. And you guys know, if you watch my wish list video or any videos, I do like fuller plants, so I did order 2 so that this one would be full. And I was so shocked to see that I barely had any damage on this plant, for it to be lost in the mail for 2 weeks. And there was a night or two where we did have temperatures at night at like 39 degrees, and I was really concerned for these plants. But really the only damage that I had was on this one leaf here, and there's like hard water stains, but I can get those off easily just by using lemon juice and water, and there's just a little bit of damage there. But I was so happy that this plant didn't die, and it only dropped 1 leaf on this one, which was a newer leaf. So it had 1 leaf on each plant that was coming out. You can see this one's still there, and so the other one, on the new leaf on the other plant, dropped off. But other than that, I am not, I'm not devastated or anything. It looks really good. I did have to go repot this plant because a lot of the plants that I get from the plant farm, he puts instructions to not repot the plants. I think for a week, he says, or something like that. But I find that a lot of the plants I get from the plant farm are really root bound. So I just went ahead and repotted this, as well as I think this one had a little bit of sand in there, and I don't like sand in my soil mediums, so I just went ahead and repotted it. And I think the soil was still wet, so when I repotted it, I didn't water it right away, and it perked right up. So this plant seems like it's doing a lot better now. But these leaves are just so velvety, and I'm excited to see this one grow. This is a plant that I'm definitely going to put outside for the summer. Another set of Ficus plants that I got are the Altissima. And when I got this one's also from the plant farm. These leaves were really limp, and I'm really shocked to see that this one did pretty well as well. I didn't do any like leaf cleaning or anything. As you can see, there's some dirt under the leaves. I really just wanted to get these plants here and just acclimate and just rest before just, messing around with them and things like that. I did want to go ahead and repot it because, like I said, this one had sand in it and it was still wet, and I didn't want them to be sitting in wet, moist, wet medium in transition from, being outside in the packaging to my home. So I did go ahead and repot this one. This one is, I feel like it's going to be a thirsty girl, just because I watered this one and I watered the Audrey, and this one's already pretty dry, so I think I'm going to have to water this one. This one also didn't suffer any leaf drops, so that was good as well. But I really do like the patterning on the leaves. It's really pretty. The leaves are a lot thinner than I thought they were going to be. But yeah, I'm so happy that this one perked up. It seems like it's going to do well, and this is how it looks from the top. So I'm really impressed with how these plants did in the mail, being in the mail for 2 weeks, coming all the way from Washington. So that's a long journey, especially in the cold. And the last Ficus that I got was just to fill out my ruby rubber tree, and I want to show you guys without making a mess. It's this one and this one that I got. So you can see this one had a little damage because I think this was a new leaf unfurling, so it has a little damage, but that's no big deal. Now these plants were pretty limp too, and then I did the same thing I did with the other ones. I just repotted it, let it sit for a while, and then I watered it when the soil was pretty dry. And as you can see, they're really sturdy now, and I really like the look of this being full. This really makes me happy. This is how I want all my rubber trees to look, and I'm thinking about buying another Taniki and everything just so they can all be full like this, because this looks amazing. But I probably won't do that this summer just because I've already hit max capacity of buying plants for the year, but this is definitely the goal and I'm excited. My other ruby is really finally throwing out new leaves left and right, so I'm excited about that. And this one will also be outside for the summer, so we will see how my ficus do this summer. Now, the last couple plants are all in the Marantaceae family, and you guys are gonna be like, I can't believe you bought Calathea. You said you like hated Calathea and you were talking so much trash about them, and I did talk a lot of trash on the Calathea. I talked a lot of poo-poo, and you know, honestly, I wasn't gonna get Calathea. I wasn't gonna mess with them anymore. But then recently I've been seeing that a lot of people have been saying how they're struggling with their Calathea, or you can't do this and you can't do that. And I'm the kind of person that's just like, challenge accepted. So I decided to do a Calathea experiment to see if I could really grow a Calathea in different conditions and things like that. And if I, you know, was good and mastered these plants, and I would offer up my 2 cents and put a care video out there. So this is why I ordered a lot of Calathea. Now, I did not have the intentions on buying all of these Calathea. I think I kind of start to like them. So if these Calathea work out for me, I will issue a public apology and I will just, you know, say how I was wrong. But anyway, like I said, I'm going to do a Calathea experiment. I'm probably going to do a 30-day experience, then do updates as well as a care. But the first Calathea-ish plant, this is a Stramanthe, and this is a Sanguiniae, and I got this from the plant farm. Now this one didn't do as well as the other ones as far as shipping, and it did suffer some damage and on the leaves, as you can see there. You can see this new growth died, and this one is going to be a little bit weird as well, but I'm thinking that all the new growth should be fine. This one also needs to be watered right now because it is a little bit light, and it's so weird. I just got Calathea, but I'm already like on this level with them and I'm understanding their needs. They're really not that bad, and I think y'all are gonna hate me, but I think I'm starting to like them. And it's just, I don't know, I think they have similar care needs to ferns, and maybe that's why they're not that bad. Now I won't be buying another white fusion, so I'm just gonna put that out there. That will not be happening, but this one's not bad. And so this is just a green variety, and it's doing pretty well. It was really pale when I first got it, and so I just let this one I think came in, it had a net around the roots, and I hate when plants have nets around the roots because then the roots have to struggle to either grow around it or they're confined in the net. And I found that when plants still have that netting around the roots, it really stunts the growth of the plant. So when I repotted it, I really tried to pick off as much netting as possible, and I think that's why this one's starting to green up more, because it was not this green when I first got it, and I was thinking I was gonna lose this one, but it's doing really well. So I also got another Stramanthe. This is the Magic Star, so you can see the difference between the two. This one has flecks of white, while this one's just all green. This one I got from Old Country Garden. I got this one from Old Country Garden, and this one was already in pretty good condition. It is putting out some new growth, if you can see that in there. It has a new leaf there, another one here, and there's one more right there. So this one throws out about 2 or 3 leaves at a time. It already unfurled one leaf, and this is just a really pretty plant. I wasn't gonna get this one either, but then when I saw it at the nursery, I was like, oh man, that's so pretty. And I did the thing that my mom does, which is leave the nursery and then you obsess about it. I think I went on a Friday. No, we went there on like a Friday, and I obsessed about it till Tuesday when I went back and got it. So I was just like, when I obsess over plants like that, I just need to go ahead and get it because it's just ridiculous. But this is just such a pretty plant. I did have a little bit of marring on the leaves. This is not humidity damage. This is because I was wiping off the leaves and the water pooled on the tip, and then that's what that damage is. So I think that only happened on one leaf, which is not bad. Like I said in my plants perfectionism video, I don't really mind a little browning, crisping, or whatever. I think it builds character. So yeah, that's the Tromanthi Magic Star. I did have to go ahead and complete the set and get the Trio Star. Now, I don't really like the ones that have too much white, so this one had just the right amount of white for me. I got this one from Old Country Gardens, and it already gave me one new leaf, which was this one, which is a huge new leaf compared to the ones that it already has on the plant. And then it has this new leaf and this new leaf, and I think that is it. But this one is a very pretty plant. It hasn't given me any difficulty. I did wipe these leaves as well. I noticed that the Stromanthis don't really like too much water sitting on the leaves, especially if you use tap water. This will happen, but this is what happened at the nursery. And so if you use, I believe I'm just gonna wipe them off with a dry cloth from now on, unless I wipe them off with distilled water. So that way I just won't have any extra browning. I have been watering them with distilled water. I don't know how much longer I'll be watering them with distilled water, just because I already buy my food. I buy Sage special food for his special diet, and to be lugging around water specifically for my plants, it's just too much, you know, specialty being happening in this household. So I probably will do filtered water, because I do buy filtered water for my Brita, so that's probably what I'll do. And if I get lazy, I'll do tap water left out, but I probably do filtered water just to minimize any browning. The next one I got was this Calathea orbifolia. This was one of the plants that I was really excited about, and I got from the plant farm. This one did not do as well compared to the other plants. You can see that damage there, and this damage here. This was also in the package that was left 2 weeks, so the damage could have been worse. So I'm really grateful that it wasn't worse than this. This is the only plant that hasn't thrown out any new growth, and so I'm just waiting for the plant to bounce back. Like I said, it was the most damaged, so I don't expect it just to throw out any growth. It does still like prey, so that's a good thing. If your plants aren't praying, then you might have to look at the roots or anything like that just to see what's happening with your plant. But it's doing pretty well. Although, if I'm being honest, I did order another duplicate of this one, and part of the reason is because I really wanted a nice plant, and another reason is because one plant I want to do an experiment with either distilled or filtered water, and then the other plant I want to do an experiment with tap water and to see which one grows better. So that's the reason why I ordered another one. But yeah, this is the orbifolia. The next one I got is the Calathea makoyana, and I do realize that most of these plants have been reclassified as Gopertias. And so I will still be calling them Calatheas just so it's a lot easier. But this one didn't do as well either, and it did have a netting around it, so I had to peel that off, and that could be reason why it didn't do as well. I find that, like I said, the plants with the netting just need a little bit more time to bounce back. But I think this is new growth here, and then I'm not sure what this thing is doing, but the seller assured me that this plant was fine. I did send him a message, and so if he says it's fine, then I guess it's just gonna have to be fine. I did order another duplicate of this one though, just to be honest, and yeah, it still prays at night, so I think it'll be okay. And this one I did lose 2 leaves off, because when I got it, it had 2 leaves that were already yellow. So yeah, that's the Calathea maclayana. And I know in my videos I usually talk about ordering full plants, but sometimes when I order a new plant I tend to go smaller just because I don't want to pay the full price for a plant that I'm not sure that I'll be able to take care of. As well as Calatheas in my area, and sometimes even on Etsy, are really expensive. They're not as cheap as they are for other people that I see online. And even my Home Depot, they had a Calathea medallion which my mom bought about 2 years ago, and ever since then they haven't had Calatheas. So I have to either go to my other nurseries which are further from my house, or I have to order online, and they're, like I said, more expensive. So that's why most of these are a lot smaller. The next Calathea I got, which I wasn't going to get this one, but this plant is so furry. This is a Calathea rufibarba, and it is just like touching a caterpillar, which I don't know why you would touch a caterpillar, but that's what it feels like. And this one is just, it's not like anything to write home about as far as beauty wise. I think it's still pretty with the ripples, and it has, you know, the purple on the back side of the leaves. It's like an eggplant color, but the furriness is just really what got me. I had my mom's boyfriend touch this plant at the terrain, and he jumped like a snake bit him. It was kind of funny. But this one grows really fast, and it's already put out 1 leaf here. This is the new leaf, and then it's got one growing here, and it's got one growing here. I don't even know if you can see that there. And then it's got all these new growth points at the bottom right there. It's got 2 on this side. Oh, 3. There's another one. And then 4. So this one's gonna grow really fast. It's already outgrowing my windowsill, like, you know, when it's lined up with my other plants. So I'm probably gonna leave this one here just because it's growing so fast, and it's gonna be a wide plant. This is another one that I'm thinking about putting in a bigger pot, just because with these kind of plants, they're rhizomatous plants, so they will grow up from the ground, and they tend to get wider rather than taller. These plants, some of them will get about 2 to 4 feet tall, but then they'll kind of cap off, and they just keep getting wider and wider. If you keep repotting them, they'll just get wider and wider, like a crawler philodendron kind of. So like the crawler philodendrons, I would envision just keeping these in wider pots, just because they just keep expanding. And so I'm probably going to repot this in a wider pot just so I can account for all the growth coming out of the bottom, as well as this is a thirsty plant. This is one of my thirstier Calatheas. And so putting it in a wider pot will also help with that. As you can see, they're all in terracotta, which I'm going to put all my plants in terracotta no matter what kind of plant it is, but it's doing well. So yeah, the only other thing that I didn't really like getting it from the terrain is that they burnt this plant. If you can see that. They had these plants, some of their Calatheas were outside getting like direct light, and I'm just like, why would you ever give a Calathea direct light? But the guy, I was at the store and he was like, yeah, like we keep our older, like uglier plants outside just so, you know, they don't get as much attention, and then we keep the nice ones inside. And I was just like, I don't know if I would tell anyone that, but that's what he told me. So yeah, this one has a lot of burnt spots, especially if you can see these. That's from too much sunlight, if you can see that there. And this is a humidity issue because they kept them outside, which I'm still confused as to why they kept them outside. The next one I got is also from the plant farm. This one is a Calathea burley marxii, and I just really love the patterning on this plant. It is so interesting how it has like this fishbone shaped leaf, and then it has this pattern, and then it really has a nice eggplant backing. This one, it has been pretty good as well. This one does a lot of movement, and it did unfurl a new leaf, which I think is this one. Yeah, it unfurled this new leaf. And so I'm still finding a correct location for this plant, but since it only unfurled one leaf and this new leaf was already on there when I got it, I still need a couple more leaves to come in just to make sure I'm not giving it too much light, because a lot of these leaves, if the backing starts to fade, then you're giving it too much light. So I just want to see a couple more leaves before I change the position, but I think it's doing pretty well. And so yeah, this is the burley marxii. And then the last Calathea I got is this Calathea. You can't see it because it's praying. This is the Maui Queen, and I really like this one. This one also grows really fast. It's already put out 3 leaves. If you can see, the lighter green ones are the new leaves, and then the darker green ones are the old leaves. And it's got another one right there, and then there's another one somewhere else. There's 2 more new leaves coming in on this one, but I just really like this one for the simplicity of the plant. I feel like this is the minimalist Calathea. It's not as showy as the other ones, and I really enjoy the pattern that is just brush strokes of, it kind of looks like a floral pattern, and then it also has the purple backing. This is another one that I've been moving further and further from the window just so I don't lose that eggplant color. These new leaves were in bright light at the nursery when I got it, so I'm trying to just, you know, monitor this plant to make sure I'm not giving it too much light, so that way I don't lose the coloring. But this one is just a beauty, and I really enjoy this plant. Now, these Calatheas move a lot at night, and the first night I had these Calatheas, they were like in the middle of the night, and I was like under my covers like, what the heck? Because, you know, you live in an apartment and it's dark in the middle of the night. I turned my flashlight on, and all the leaves on all the Calatheas were up, and I'm like flashing the flashlight around the room, and then I put the flashlight down, and Sage is looking at me like, are you gonna turn that light off? And I'm like, I'm sorry, sir. But yeah, these Calatheas move a lot, especially at night, and sometimes it's a little freaky. And even this one, I'll see it flicker out of the corner of my eye, and I'm just like, that is creepy. But I really love this plant, and I can't wait for it to get bigger. All right, now we're in the home stretch. You only got 2 left. Now, someone made a comment on my last haul video and was like, oh, they said something like, oh, you got like four plants but not really, saying that was a lot. And I was like, man, if you really knew, I was like, for me, that's light work. I can buy 4 plants easily, and really, if I'm having a good plant shopping trip, I can buy 8 to 12 plants easily. But that's for another video. But for the last 2 plants, these I think are my favorite. These are the Maranta Leucanora Curturiana. This one I really wasn't going to get, but I saw it at Gateway Nursery. It was the only plant there, and it just looked so sad by itself. And I wasn't trying to rescue the plant, but I just felt bad. And then it was so beautiful, and they hadn't watered it in a really long time. I mean, the baby was dry. The pot was so light, it wasn't even funny. And so I got it home and I watered it, and it instantly crisped up because it had been so long since it got watered. I still watered it with distilled water. My humidity was up, so I knew it wasn't that. It just hadn't been watered, and it crisped on some of the leaves. But like I said, crisping does not bother me. It has thrown out this leaf and this leaf, and it's growing this leaf. And there's another one deep in there. So this one's just putting out leaves like crazy. I love how big the leaves are. I love the rabbit track patterns. For this one, I'm keeping an eye on the rabbit tracks, just because when they're dark like this is like key lighting. So this is how I know I have the right amount of lighting for this one. As you can see at the nursery, it was getting too much light because the leaves are like more faded here. So I know my lighting is a lot better, and I really don't have this in a bright spot at all, but I really love these rabbit tracks. Like, that is just, oh, look at that. That's amazing. So guys, I did not expect to like these Calatheas. I mean, I did like the way they looked, but I was just a hater because that white fusion had me so salty. And I was like, I'm never going to get another Calathea again. And here we are today. But yeah, this is the green version. And all my Calatheas need to be watered today. I can feel it. I'm kind of getting the hang of them and know when they need to be watered. Like I said, I have been watering them with distilled water. I'm hoping to bottom water them, but they all don't need to be watered at the same time, which is kind of annoying, but they do today. I can feel it. So I'll probably be bottom watering it. But this is the variegated version of the one I just showed you. I got this one from Plant Farm. And the reason why I like this one is A, because it's a bigger plant. Usually I've been seeing this one smaller and more expensive. So it's just a nice size. And 2, it is variegated on all the leaves, if you can see that. Other ones I've been seeing are not variegated. They only give you a couple leaves that are variegated, which I'm just like, if you're going to pay more for a variegated plant, I need to have some variegation. But this one has a lot of variegation on all the leaves. And this is a newer leaf that's come out. Like I said, the tracks are a lot darker, so I think I'm doing better. I did had this one next to my Sandsy light. It was like off to the side, but it was too much light for the plant. There's the other leaf, but this is what happened on the side of my Sandsy light, so I moved this one, but you can still see that the patterning is a lot darker. And so, like I said about the other one, I'm still monitoring the light. I think I have it in a really good position right now, just because the pattern is a lot darker than some of these other leaves. Like this one, some of them are really faded, and so I'm really enjoying these plants. I didn't think they were gonna be as easy. Well, I'm trying not to say easy because easy is relative to the person. So I'm trying not to say hard and easy, or maybe I could just say easy to me or easier than I thought. We'll play with the terminology. But anyway, I didn't think that these plants were gonna be like this. I thought it was gonna be more of a struggle. But like I said, I think their care is really similar to ferns. And when I get more experience and things like that, I would definitely do a care video. Like I said, I'm probably going to switch to filtered water because I cannot see myself carrying jugs of water every month for these plants, just being honest. I know filtered water doesn't filter out the fluoride, which is fine. They give and take. But like I said, these are mostly wish list plants as well as experimental plants. And yeah, so I have one more package, like I said, and then I'm pretty much going to take a break from ordering plants. The reason why I buy my plants in bundles is because I like to bulk shop. I don't really like to do here and there, as well as I like to buy, which I learned from last year, I like to buy my plants before I put my plants outside, because that way I know that I have room for the plants. If you buy your plants as your plants are outside or after you put them outside, then you can quickly realize that when you put your plants outside and you buy plants, because you see that you have all this space, you are mistaken when you bring those plants back in, and you will realize that very quickly. So this year I decided to change that and buy my plants beforehand, so that way I knew that I definitely had the space. Unless my plants that I put outside decide to hulk out on me, and then I won't have any other words to say. If you guys want to see that last plant purchase that I made, write it down in the comment section below. I know I usually don't do like hauls and things like that, just because I don't want to give off like a look at me mentality or look what I bought kind of thing. I don't know. And plus, I don't know how interesting doing haul after haul would be. Not to mention that I don't want to do that because I don't have all that money to be spending on plants like that. But if you guys want to see that other haul that's going to be coming up, let me know. That'll probably be the last one for the year, and I'll just do like maintenance and videos and things like that. But anyway, like I said, let me know. And as always, I just want to thank you guys so much for liking, subscribing. If you could please hit the notification bell just so you know every time I upload a video, that would be awesome. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.